Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Virtual Racers Club. And we are bringing you a replay stream. A stream of a replay that happened last Wednesday. It's Sunday today, just in case you're not watching this in any relevant time frame. So Wednesday evening, there was the start of a new series, a team versus team event. And the glorious sim racers over at Black Flag E-Racing brought it. They brought an invitation to have a team versus team event. So this is the Black Flag E-Racers versus the Virtual Racers Club, and this first round is this is like home and away. This is their one. This is their choice. So they've chosen a Group 3 endurance event at the Nürburgring GP for 60 minutes of racing. Something about the weather, but I don't think it matters. Let me see what else there is. It's late morning. Grid start with false checks. Fastest first. The bop is on. Tuning is prohibited. The boost is off, obviously. Tyre wear is at ×5. Fuel consumption is at ×5. Mechanical damage is on light. Refuel, you don't care about any of that stuff. So, yeah, it's a 60-minute race in the Group 3 cars. Now, I believe the VRC boys chose the AMG Merc, and the Black Flag guys chose the Porsche 911. And they've qualified for a set time. Could be 10 minutes. And this is the grid. Just behind me is the grid. We're going to have a look in a minute. So, yes, this is round one, I think. I've scribbled it down because, I mean, I don't want to point fingers or anything, but it's not easily readable in Discord. But I believe round one is their choice at Nürburgring in the Group 3s. Round two will be our choice, which is Red Bull, another endurance race for 60 minutes in the Group 3 cars. I don't know if it's the same cars or if they're changing the cars for that race. Then it'll be Lago Maggiore in the Group 4 cars for 3 20-minute sprints. That's their choice. And then we bring it home to Laguna Seca in the Group 4 cars for, again, another 3 20-minute sprint races. So that'll be your Wednesdays going forwards. And this is round one. That this one's null and void, and they're going to tap this one back on the end and redo it because there was a small mistake with the settings where the fuel wasn't set right at the beginning. But let's not take anything away from our enjoyment. A race is a race. Doesn't matter what the settings are, and everyone's trying their hardest. Let's not point fingers. Right then, here we go then. This is the grid. This is the grid filled with Porsches and Mercedes. So it's all jazzed up for the Germans, isn't it? German track, German cars. I think there was choices of all the Group 3 cars. I believe that's the choices they made. So the grid then, before ahead of this 60-minute race. Moving forward then, and it is Kevin for Black Flag on pole in the Porsche. He is going to be starting on the medium tyres. Then in second place, we have Stormfly for the Black Flag guys, and he's also on the mediums. Third place on the grid is Racer Brown in the Mercedes. He'll be starting on the soft tyres. Avalon Shadow is on the medium tyres and in fourth spot. Then in fifth, we have Big Dan for the VRC boys, starting on the soft tyre. Then we have PM10 in sixth for Black Flag. Then in seventh, we have, and he's starting on the medium, sorry. Seventh, we have Homesick Alien. He's starting on the mediums also for VRC. Noxie starting in eighth on the softs, with Wiggy in ninth. He's also starting on the softs. with Skyjacker 10th, and he's starting on the soft tyres also for VRC. Black Flag Yellow Sausages, I'm going to have to Google what that means, is starting 11th. He's on the medium tyre with Koikarp 12th, and he'll be starting on the soft tyre. 13th, unlucky for some, but the Bazza likes it. He'll be starting 13th on the soft tyre. And then in 14th, Phil for Black Flag E-Racing, starting on the medium tyre. And that is your grid. 60 minutes of high-octane, fast-fueled racing between two sim groups. What more can you ask? That I get on with it? True. So the start of the race then, the lights are up. Kevin on pole with Stormfly. It's a Black Flag wall at the front grid, and they're away. A great start by Kevin. It looks like there's a VRC car pulling out further down. It's Homesick Alien getting a cracking start on those medium tyres and getting himself ahead of Avalon. Oh, it's looking messy in the middle there, but it's all fine. Everyone is through. No, we've got offs, we've got skids, we've got all sorts of pandemonium down here. And how is it looking? Yellow Sausages is in 10th, Koikarp 11th, Skyjacker's the man that's dropped down. Phil, did I have Phil? Oh, Phil 14, he's moved up, so it's Wiggy. It's Wiggy who's lost a lot of ground there. Meanwhile, Kevin is leading the way with Stormfly in second. Then we've got a sea of orange behind him with Racer Brown. Homesick moving up into 4th place. Noxie in 5th. Then we've got Big Dan in 6th. Barry in 7th. Koikarp is up into 8th place. Koikarp starting 12th, jumped up 4 places. Yellow Sausages is down. And it's those medium tyres, the soft tyres have propelled the VRC boys right up through the ranks. I think they've got to use 2 sets of tyre, 2 types of different compounds. So the Black Flag guys getting those mediums out of the way early doors as a Skyjacker bogged down behind Avalon Shadow, or we'll just call him the Shadow. And PM10 also 12th. Phil in 13th, Wiggy there going for a move on his teammate, and Phil not putting up much resistance, so Wiggy up a position. Meanwhile, Kevin blatantly flying. Oh no, we've got 3, a snuggle bomb of 3 cars out there for the lead. They come to the end of this first lap. 60 minutes of racing, and already we're getting a right treat as Racer Brown tries to close the gap on Kevin and Stormfly as they head around the final corner and move into lap 2. Meanwhile, Homesick Alien holding a steady line behind Racer Brown, where Noxie looks like he is a little faster than the Alien, and I think he wants to get by. Also, Big Dan, remember, they're on the soft tyres with Homesick Alien donning those mediums. And yeah, Noxie and Big Dan, they're being impeded right now by their teammate Bazza. Bazza's had a stunner, only 13th to 7th. By lap 2, where has that come from? So the Baz is on a high, and he's ahead of Koikarp, chasing down that gaggle of VRC Mercedes. They're all stuck behind Homesick Alien because he's on the medium tyres, they're on the softs, and they want to get gone. And Homesick Alien keeping to his line. I don't think he's blocking. He's got a nice gap, in fact. If anything, he's catching up with Racer Brown. Has Racer Brown cooked his tyres? No, he must have made a small mistake. Oh, hang on. I thought Homesick looked a lot closer than just now. No, I must have been getting him mixed up with Noxie. We've got to get some colours on those cars. Just a stripe or something. Give everyone a colour and a stripe. I know it's a lot of messing around in livery, but it's they all look the same. So Racer Brown is keeping track with Stormfly and Kevin. Kevin and Stormfly on those medium tyres. And I think it's because they started on full tanks of fuel is why it's been nulled, and they'll be redoing it. But for now, Skyjacker in the chat saying, "G'day, Skip. Little Billy has fallen down the well." Hey, am I talking Aussie? I don't know if I am. Maybe I am. So Kevin is absolutely flying out there at the moment, but Stormfly is staying with him all the way, making a race of it, as well as Racer Brown just in the background. Homesick Alien is with them, with Noxie in 5th, Big Dan in 6th, but their tyres, oh, Noxie's looking after his tyres a lot better than Big Dan. Big Dan dancing around there behind Noxie, and that will not be helping his tyres. Looking from left to right, it might look cool on the stream, but it's not helping his tyres whatsoever. The Baz looks to be closing the gap on Big Dan. Tyres not too much of a concern just yet, it seems. They're holding in there, those softs, as they're on lap 3. But on times 5, I don't think the tyres are going to last very long. Koikart there, he's having a case of the lags, but still holding ground ahead of Skyjacker. Then we have Yellow Sausages. Am I going to get arrested if I Google Yellow Sausages at some point? I just want to make sure. Skyjacker, lols, was wondering if you read that out loud. I always read them out loud, and I would have tried to read it in an Australian accent. And Skyjack saying, have you got all Ron Burgundy and will read out anything posted in stream chat? I do. I feel that you put the effort into watch, you put even more effort into type something, so no matter what you've typed, I will read out. I even read out the love bots. I think they deserve hearing as well. So Avalon Shadow, he's under pressure from PM10. PM10 looking to get a move on. Inter-team racing, this is what we want to see. Not only is it VRC versus Black Flag, it's Black Flag versus Black Flag and VRC versus VRC. They're racing all over the place. BFeR. Phil is BFeR is the initials, but it looks like BFeR, and I want to call him BFeR Phil. BFeR Phil. He's been down the old Iron Cathedral, and he's been slinging tons. He's been slinging iron as BFeR Phil. Have you seen BFeR Phil recently? BFeR Phil, mate, he's definitely been down the gym. He's been slinging them weights, hasn't he? So BFeR Phil is in 13th ahead of Wiggy, who I imagine has got glorious hair. A big full flock of glorious hair. And they call him Wiggy, just as humans are cruel. And Wiggy getting a good lap there as he comes up to BFeR Phil. And Kevin then still holding ground from Stormfly, but Stormfly wants a piece of the action. I tell you, it's very close up the front here, with Racer Brown still there in touching distance, but he's on the soft tyre where the two ahead of him will be able to stay out longer, because their mediums will stay in there. Noxie finally getting himself by the Alien, because he was losing time. Homesick on those medium tyres. He will not be pushing that car to the max. Staying on the grey stuff is job 1, really. Then going fast is job 2. Some people get that mixed up. They think job 1 is going fast, and then job 2 is staying on the grey stuff, but it doesn't usually work out that way. And there's Homesick Alien, forgetting which job he's doing. And he should be staying on the grey stuff, but he's trying to go fast. And that helps Big Dan go through, and Big Dan's picked himself up a penalty. Oh my God, where did he get that from? Must have cut a corner somewhere. And that's going to put him back again behind Homesick, and maybe the Baz. Oh, Skyjack has just made a move on the Bazza, and the Bazza didn't see that coming. And Skyjacker now up into 7th place, chasing down the Alien. And even though Big Dan got the penalty, and here comes the Alien in for the kill, and with a sweet incision, he cuts through and past Big Dan. Meanwhile, Kevin up at the front for BFeR, ahead of Stormfly VR. Not just Stormfly, he's Stormfly VR, virtual Stormfly. And Racer Brown then chasing him down with Noxie now in 4th. Homesick Alien back ahead of Big Dan after Big Dan's penalty. Skyjacker in 7th. He's cutting a nice bit of jib up towards Big Dan with the Baz in tow. Koikarp in 9th. Then we've got the BFeR G boys. But don't forget, there's no G. I don't know where the G came in. What did I just spell? BFeR G. BFeR. And we've got a little moment there as Yellow Sausages goes wide, giving Avalon Shadow the chance to move up, and PM10, he's right in the mix as well. He moves up ahead of Yellow Sausages, and it looks like Yellow Sausages just forgot where his brake pedal was for a second. Oh, he's really struggling in the Porsche, and he's pushing the Porsche. He's getting his jobs mixed up as well. Job 1, stay on grey stuff. Job 2, go fast. So Yellow Sausages drops to the back of the crew as BFeR there in 13. With Wiggy now up into 12, PN10 chasing down Avalon. Now these B Black Flag guys, they're on the medium tyres, don't forget. They're having their own mini race behind everybody else, but that's because all of the VRC boys are on softs, and you can see there, Koi Carp's tyres are looking pretty null and void. They are done, dusted, and I don't know what else, but they're definitely them. All of it, it's all gone Pete Tong for Koi Carp's tyres, and it's the front wear there. They must be eating through the corners. He must be struggling with such understeer that he's fighting something. And I sound like I'm being a little distracted because I'm trying. I didn't post this video in for the BFeRG boys. It feels weird talking about them. We're not actually letting them know that I'm doing a stream. So there we go. It's done now. I can chat all sorts of jib about them now because I've invited them to listen. So Koi Carp then crosses the line, and Avalon's shadow, I think, is catching him up. And Koi Carp, he might be suggesting a bit of a pit stop there. But if they did start, I think they were starting on half tanks. Then he's done a little more than half a tank and killed his tyres. Skyjacker also well on his way through those tyres. Homesick Aliens mediums, sitting pretty, brother. And he's looking good on strategy. Noxie, he's looked after those tyres. My word, he caresses that car in the corners. He can give me a massage. Come over here, big boy. Then we've got Racer Brown. His tyres not looking as bad as some of the other soft runners, but he's definitely dropped a bit of pace from the two ahead, which are looking cracking. Look, Kevin's barely used his tyres yet, and Stormfly maybe a little bit more, but that's because he's dancing around in his hot air. And I believe GT7's hot air does come across as a little nasty bugger, a little bit of a nasty thing to live with. So Stormfly dealing with all that filthy air from the back of Kevin. Then we've got Racer Brown in third, Noxie in fourth, and these are the soft runners, and they will be pitting pretty soon. They've got half a tank of fuel, but they've got virtually no rubber left on those tyres, nor has Skyjacker. They are driving those things to the rim, and Avalon Shadow gets Homesick. Homesick's made a mistake. Homesick Alien was doing so well, and he's dropped it. And he's now swamped by Avalon, who's also got himself past Koi. Racer Brown into the pits as Koi's got no meat left. He's got nothing on those tyres whatsoever. And they're both in. Homesick and Koi coming in along with Racer Brown. Skyjacker is virtually all the VRC boys have pitted at the same time. Racer Brown, Noxie. Avalon Shadow moves up into third place with PM10 moving up into a fourth, and that is a top 5 Black Flag e-racing crew, and that's how the job is done, boys. And even Wiggy on those soft tyres, he's looked after them, he's cared for them. They're there still. The 911 might be a little nicer to the tyres than that meaty monstrosity they call the AMG Mercedes, but VRC chose it, so they must see something in there. And there we see Racer Brown absolutely caning it. He's come out of the pits, he's put medium tyres on, he's on a fat tank of fuel, and he is bringing it. We are just gone 12 minutes of this race, and it's a 60-minute. So what's that? 12? Is that like a three-stop strategy then from the VRC boys, it seems? Although they might stretch out this second stint, as Yellow Sausages we see there is in 8th ahead of Racer Brown, and Noxie tucked up behind him on the medium tyre now. They have to use both compounds, and the VRC boys have used the softs now of a whole, most of them, and they're all back out on the medium tyre. Skyjacker in 10th, the Baz is in 11th. Big Dan lost a lot there. He's lost a lot of ground. He's dropped behind Skyjacker and Bazza. So Big Dan losing out biggest there. And Skyjacker says job 1 is defo go fast. So another one, he hasn't quite got his job orientation. We'll have to get him back to a sim racing orientation again. Ensign Hewitt saying we are in the Mercedes. Yes, thank you. Yeah, the Mercedes. Do wonder, Esther. And so Homesick Alien, who's picked up himself a hefty penalty, crossing the line, I imagine, in that pit stop. And there we go, Homesick Alien having to pay a big one as Koikap bears down on him in last place, 14th, with Homesick in 13th. Homesick going again. And is he going to pick up enough pace and speed to stay ahead of Koikap? God only knows. He does. He's into the braking zone now and back up to pace. So Homesick Alien paying dearly for his pit stop. And Koikap closing in. Big Dan also. Oh no, Baz has lost out a bit now. And the Baz has dropped back behind Big Dan. I mean, I don't know why. It's not much to ask to have lap times, is it, from PD? Could you just, please? I can see what pace people are doing. Skyjacker then, he's up into 10th. Noxie, he's dicing it. He's dicing it with BFeR Phil and Yellow Sausages. Yellow Sausage, where is he? I've lost place. Noxie's still behind the two of them. Yellow Sausages looking a little wide now. No, don't forget, these guys are on an older set of medium tyres, whilst the VRC boys are out of the pits on fresh tyres. Heavier car, but fresher tyres. And that is Noxie ahead of BFeR Phil. Beefcake Phil, then he's getting to the end of the life of those mediums. They don't get much more life out of the mediums than they do the racing softs, really. Oh, a little knock from Noxie on Yellow Sausages. Yellow Sausages, bless him, has got an old set of tyres. He's trying to slow his car down, and he doesn't need Noxie knocking on his back door, but Noxie just trying to get on with his race. He doesn't need to be held up by an old 911 tatty tired car at the moment, with Racer Brown in 6th. He's got a lovely bit of space ahead of him before he comes across a Wiggy, whose tyres, he's kept those softs out there until nearly 16 minutes into this race. They're done. They died a couple of laps ago, but he's still going on them. He doesn't care. There he goes. He's into the pits, and now is the Wigster. And PM10 still going on the racing mediums, looking good. He's got Avalon Shadow still inside, but Avalon Shadow tyres are absolutely brand new, with Stormfly still giving Kevin something to think about. And Kevin's looking after those tyres as Stormfly's tyres disappear into obscurity. And Skyjack saying Merc is defo a big heavy lump of a machine. Yeah. It looks like one. So that's Skyjacker said that. So Kevin is leading from Stormfly with Avalon Shadow in 3rd, and it's a great day for the Black Flag E-Racing boys. They've come here, they've spanked a bit of VRC body, and they're driving home with the spoils. PM10 is in 4th place as Racer Brown cracks on best he can on those medium tyres. 3/4 of a tank of fuel. Is there much? Yeah, there's something in it. I think he can still get himself back up into 3rd after pit stops. I don't know about Stormfly and Kevin. They seem to be in a realm of their own. And Racer Brown, though, smashing it as he does, and Noxie doing a great race there in 6th, ahead of Yellow Sausages, who's picked himself up a penalty, the naughty little boy, and he's going to find himself being swamped by a bit of Skyjacker, Beefcake Phil, and Big Dan going the wrong way, and Homesick following him a little bit. But Big Dan, who I said hasn't got a nickname, but I found out this is probably not the forum, because it's a shared lobby and there's other people, and you know, these internal things. Drifting Dan they call him. He's Ensign Ewart on GT Sport, Big Dan in this, and Drifting Dan is his thing. And I think I've just missed an absolute cracker from Homesick Alien. Skyjacker getting himself ahead of Yellow Sausages, and the tables are turning. The turning tables are tiding on the turntable of the tide. And Noxie now in 6th. Racer Brown is up into 5th place, chasing down the top 4 who have not pitted yet. And then we've got Noxie in 6th. Then we've got Skyjacker just ahead of Yellow Sausages, with Homesick Alien is there in 6th, ahead of Drifting Dan, ahead of Beefcake Phil, who's got a lot of bazza. He's got a lot of Barry up his side, and little Barry's got it done. Has he done it though? Yeah, Beefcake goes a little wide there, and Bazza is through as BFeR Phil holds on to 12th, and he needs a pit stop. Look, his fuel's flashing, his tyres are warning him of imminent danger as Koikarp makes his way around in 13th. Wiggy has made a pit stop for the black flag guys, and he's out there racing mediums, tank of fuel, and a proper can-do attitude, I'm sure. Kevin, though, leads the way from Stormfly, and Stormfly's tyres, they're giving up the ghost, but he's keeping pace with Kevin, whose tyres are only half burnt. Avalon Shadow, he's looking after his tyres nicely as well, with PM10 a little more burnt than Avalon's. And they're like pirates, these guys. They've got pirates. So are we racing pirates? Arr, my hearties. You see, we've got ourselves a little parlay. A little parlay with the Black Flag Buccaneers. They've come to these shores, I tell thee. They've come to pillage our women. And we must stop them. Yes, I tell thee, we must stop them. Well, there's no stopping Kevin, because look at him. Kevin and Stormfly are absolutely murdering a Nürburgring, what Stormfly murders his tyres at the same time, but he's holding on to the apex. Look at that. Whoa! His car didn't know what direction it wanted to go out of that corner, was it? It was he had to do a lot of persuasion inside that cockpit to get that to point the right way, because it definitely wanted to go the other. Avalon Shadow now, whoa, talking about wanting to go the other way, and PM10's Porsche just decides it's going to bullet itself right towards the fence, and he's got a Racer Brown heading his way, and Racer Brown thought he was going to get that position through the pit stops, but PM10 just handed it all over on a platter to the Brown. Noxie is driving in 6th, and he's driving above and beyond what you could ask for, and doing a superb job keeping the alien Skyjacker at bay. Skyjacker being a naughty boy and picking himself up a little penalty, a little corner cut there. Was there, Skyjacker? Eh? Was you being penalised for going off and losing time? That's usually the way it's done in the GT world. I know. Let's go wide and then get a penalty. And meanwhile, Big Dan, Drifting Dan, is giving it some large behind Yellow Sausages. Let's get on board with Ensign Hewitt as he looks around the outside. He's a brave boy as he goes up against this darn pirate. Arr, I see a cutlass. I see a black flag and cutlass on the horizon, sir. Stormfly is into the pits. He has pulled the trigger on that pit stop, and he is in. And fuel and new tyres as we are aboard P10, Drifting Dan against Yellow Sausages. And Avatar's a mural saying lol, and Avatar also saying, for your information, the pirates come from Andy. His nickname is Urban Pirate. Oh yeah, of course, yeah, their commentator on the other side. He's a pirate. Arr. Skyjacker saying, stupid GT pens. Yep, I lost over a second earning that penalty. Well, you should wear it with pride. And Skyjacker saying the pit entry pen was absolutely ridiculous too. I did Bathurst the other night, one of the nights this week I did. Oh, there's loads pitting. Hang on, let me get back to this. So we had Kevin. He still stayed out. He hasn't gone in. He's not interested in that. His tyres are looking good. He's got fuel. He's going to just keep on cracking on. He's driving all the way back to Greece. And then we've got Avalon Shadow there. His fuel's flashing. He's on a dead set of mediums. So he's going to be wanting to get a pit stop in soon. Racer Brown is up into 3rd, and Stormfly out of the pits on mediums. Full fat tank of fuel just behind Racer Brown, who's already halfway through his stint. His second stint already. And I don't know if Racer Brown will be able to keep... He was keeping pace with these two, but he was on soft tyres and they were on medium tyres. They've gone to medium tyres again, so still a set of softs to use for Stormfly, and he is all up in Racer Brown's business, and that's an interesting one. Let's hope it doesn't. I'm going to go through the crowd, the pack, and let's hope nothing happens too wild between those two and we can come back and watch it. Kevin's into the pits now, and I'm sure Avalon Shadow's got to follow him in. Surely, because that fuel is done. He's on vapors with Racer Brown. I don't even think Well, he might still, because Stormfly wasn't that far behind Kevin. So Racer Brown's going to be mixing this one right up. I was going to go through who is where, but we will wait for this pit stop as Avalon Shadow comes in as well. Racer Brown canes it around the final corner, the Coca-Cola curve, onto the straight, and the pit exit, is, I believe, is... Where is it? It comes out on the straight, doesn't it? It's not one of them silly ones that's after turn one. No, there it is. And no, Kevin is done, and he's out ahead. Just about. Sorry, I missed the excitement on that one. Whoa! Kevin giving it a big slideroo around the first corner with Racer Brown under threat from Stormfly. Stormfly having a look around the outside of the VRC pilot. And Stormfly now looking up the inside, and VRC, Racer Brown is widening that Mercedes as far as he possibly can. He's giving it a good stretch with Stormfly again, all coming up in his business. He's got the fresher tyres, and he doesn't want to see Kevin pulling away. His fight, I believe he feels, is with Kevin. And Racer Brown's an intruder in this one. Get out of the way, he says. I'm on it, and that little Greek god is pulling away from me. Noxie, meanwhile, in 4th place, doing a superb job around about halfway through his stint. Also, Homesick Alien, oh, he went out on the softs, and they are dead. He wants to come in. He couldn't drive any further with those bad boys, surely, but he's keeping track of Noxie ahead of Skyjacker, who's down to a quarter of a tank of fuel. He's got a thirsty car, unless he didn't totally fill that bad boy. Big Dan is in 7th, and his tyres are looking like they're coming to the end of their life. I mean, they pitted, what, about 40 minutes in? I can't believe how long Kevin and Stormfly went for. That's unbelievable. With the Baz there, he's getting to the end of his second stint also, with Koikart now in 9th. After a couple of these guys have pitted. So Wiggy, he's up into 10th now. He's giving Koikap a lot to think about. Half a tank from him. He pitted a while ago, I guess, because his tyres are starting to bed in. With Avalon Shadow only just pitting from what was 2nd place. He's down in 11th now. Medium tyres, full tank of fuel. He's just ahead of PM10 Racing. And he's all up in his business there, the number 10 car. Oh, going wide, it's making its own decisions again. The Porsche just does not want to go through the chicane. And Yellow Sausages is there in 13th. He's looking like he's a bit off of the other guys. And what happened to BFeR? He went and did a couple of crunches in his pit stop, I reckon, for Beefcake Phil, and he's back out there in 14th. Meanwhile, it's the VRC turn to pit as Big Dan brings it in. Koikap and the Baz all bringing it in. That'll give Yellow Sausages and Beefcake something to look forward to as Kevin leads this race. Racer Brown still keeping Stormfly at bay, and Stormfly, he's going to be getting quite irritated because, well, I tell you, Kevin's not pulling away. I can still see him. But Stormfly definitely further away from Kevin than what he was before the pit stops. And he'll be wanting to get himself right in there with some action, I am sure of it. So Stormfly, who's that, Dutch? Is he a Flying Dutchman, is he? Oh. Having a sup. Sorry guys, I was having a little drink because I was thirsty. I don't know where I put that thing in there. I think I put it in general. I did. I wasn't even paying attention. I probably put it in the wrong place for the BFeR guys. I just quickly slammed a post in there, or a paste, copy and paste. So Stormfly, he's not getting it done against Racer Brown. He had the fresher tyres. He had the momentum on his side. Obviously, Racer Brown's got a lighter car. And there he goes. He's gone for the move now. Stormfly from miles away up the inside. And he gets it done as Racer Brown looks like he was struggling on the outside of the corner on the marbles and all the bitty-botty crap stuff that you get around the outside of the track. And Stormfly flies through, and now he's got to hunt himself down a Greek Kevin again with Noxie in 4th. We're getting more pit stop action further down the field as Avalon Shadow making his way up to 5th now after his pit stop. He's gone very wide, and Wiggy says, yeah, man, sweet. No, Avalon Shadow still ahead of Wiggy. Wiggy's there though, he wants a piece of that. He's got a lighter car, his tyres are bedded in a little more, and I think with the mediums they're probably a bit better when they're worn in than they are fresh off the shelf, but we will see. At the moment, Wiggy though looming large in Avalon Shadow's shadow, and Avalon Shadow cannot make a mistake in this race because he's got a Wiggy right there wanting a piece of that action. Just down the road we've got PM10. We saw he was trying to keep that Porsche under control. It was flying around all over the place, but he's got it back where he wants it, and now he's hunting himself down a couple of the black flag guys. He wanted to be seeing orange. He likes taking orange scalps. He doesn't want the people from his own team. He wants to rip the scalps from the skulls of the VRC team. And so far he's doing a great job of it. He's ahead of Homesick, who has recently pitted. He's gone for another set of softs. He's preferring the soft tyre in the race. Is Homesick Alien? I don't think he used a set of medium. Oh, he started on the mediums and he stayed with the softs, where everybody else seems to be sticking with the mediums after their second stop. Racer Brown's in, no fuel. Noxie's in with no fuel, and that will promote Avalon Shadow up to 5th. Look at this little train of cars. It's delicious, my friends. On board with PM10 racing as he hunts down Wiggy and Avalon Shadow as Racer Brown sits in the pits, gets his tyres changed, and that's it. We've got a top 5 black flag racing team again, and that is glorious. Something for them to be proud about as Racer Brown comes out of the pits in 6th spot. And in the chat we have Defast saying, I miss racing in VRC, no cap. And Avatar saying, you did correct the link to BFeR. Oh, thanks, man. Well, I just shoved it in general, but I thought, oh, they've probably got like a YouTube page or a videos page, and I just slapped it in general chat. So it's like quite rude. Excuse me, we was just talking then. We was talking about F1 and how good the Sky Sports team are, and you just slapped your goddamn VRC video right smack bang in the middle. As we were saying, who would you bang out of the women presenters? I don't know their names, and I'm not describing them because that would be awful. The American one, the blonde one, and the dark-haired one. Can I get away with that? The dark-haired one, probably, over the others. Not the American one, she's annoying. So a Racer Brown then in 6th spot. He's chasing down Wiggy after his pit stop. Then we've got Noxie in 7th. He's just pitted. He's gone for a set of mediums. So the guys out there seem to be preferring the mediums, bar Homesick, who used a set of mediums at the beginning, and he's stuck to the softs ever since. He's going for those, I'd say, shorter stints, but he's not. He's just killing his softs all the way to a lengthy little stint. We've just gone over halfway of this 60-minute race, and Big Dan in 9th with us, and he's on softs, half a tank. We saw Skyjacker, Baz all make earlier pit stops, Koi Carp as well. They've all gone to the soft tyre, and they're sitting in 9th. He's not too far behind Homesick, who's not too far behind Noxie, so still a nice little tight race in the mid-pack there with the VRC boys. And I think it's strategy that Yellow Sausages and BFeR Phil, well, no, Yellow Sausages, he hasn't caught them up too much, has he? And he's on a similar strategy to them now with fuel and tyre. And Beefcake Phil, always time for crunches, Phil, no matter whereabouts you are on the lap. And Kevin, though, is destroying this one. It really is. Stormfly being held up a little bit by Racer Brown. Well, he's not held up, it was racing. But Stormfly trying to claw back Kevin in this race. And Skyjack saying, always welcome back, Defast. I don't know who Defast is. Did I ever commentate on a Defast? I honestly don't know. I have such a shocking memory. Sorry. I can't even remember people that are in the race that I'm commentating on at the time. I'm like, you heard me struggle over Avalon's Shadow. Pretty easy, really. Avalon's Shadow. Couldn't be more straightforward. Took me a good 10 minutes before I could get my tongue around that bad boy. And PM10, talking about getting your tongue around it, so does PM10 all over. He gives Avalon Shadow a little lick as he comes by. He says, "Oh, my hearties, batten down the hatchers. We're coming through." So PM10 bagging himself a podium position and looking for a boo with Avalon Shadow there in fourth. Was it tyres? It was just pure skill. And I'm sure Avalon Shadow will not want to know that. With a Racer Brown in fifth, on a different strategy to the guys around him. And it's going to be interesting how it all shakes out. Wiggy coming to the end of his stint now, as we come up to 35 minutes in this 60-minute race. And, I'll just take a moment to say that black flag livery is absolutely delicious. Put it on a cake. I could eat it. It's gorgeous. I like it. Very nice. Suits the Porsche. Suits you, sir. Ooh, suits you. So Homesick Alien, he's on those softs. How far behind the Whigs is he? I don't know, because we don't get told any information. They can't give me lap times, and they can't give me gaps between cars on a replay. That's too difficult. But hey, that's now. I had to reload the bloody replay 3 times because the liveries wouldn't load. I was nearly going to have to ask if someone else had a replay, but it finally did it. Because it was like only 2 cars for both teams had liveries and all the others were standard. And I didn't know you could have a blue AMG or a grey AMG until that moment. But there you go. And I had to reload the replay 3 times. 3 blooming times. Life's too short, GT7. Life's too short for your loading times and your shenanigans. So Homesick Alien 7th. He's got Noxie behind him. Noxie, he's on the medium tyres, 3/4 of a tank of fuel. And he's going to be going longer than the Alien. But the Alien is catching up the Wigster. And Wiggy, like I said, coming to the end of his stint. He'll be pitting soon. And Racer Brown, absolutely, he's not far off of Avalon and PM10. And they're about halfway through their stint, judging by the tyres and the fuel on those bad boys. I don't even know if they've used softs yet. I don't think they have. And Racer Brown 5th, Homesick Alien 6th, Wiggy is in 7th. Oh, DeFast saying he has no PS Plus. Wiggy in 7th with Noxie in 8th. Big Dan in 9th, Skyjacker in 10th, the Baz is 11th, Koi Carp 12th, Yellow Sausages is in 13th, and Big Phil is in 14th. Beefer Phil is in 14th, and my word, what a stunning little race we've got going on. 37 minutes in, Kevin has led from the start, barring a pit stop. No, even after his pit stop, I think he led, to tell you the truth. So there has been no way of holding this man back. He is absolutely flying. And Avatar saying, for your information, liveries is from the Greek guy. So, Kevin, he's not only fast, he's artistic. Not autistic. I didn't say autistic, I said artistic. Artistic. Come on. I'll be cancelled if I called him that. So Kevin then is leading the way from Stormfly. And I tell you what, I believe Stormfly has without the aid of pit lap times or distances, just by my naked eye, I've given it an ocular scan, and I believe Stormfly is getting closer to Kevin. But then Kevin has got nowhere on his tyres and half a tank of fuel. Kevin's going nowhere. He can say, you can huff and you can puff, little Stormfly. You can blow my house down because I'm going nowhere. PM10 Racing doing a superb job there in 3rd place ahead of Avalon Shadow. He embarrassed him, didn't he? PM10 really pulled one on in there. And Avalon Shadow now just driving behind with his head down. And Racer Brown, is he catching them? I wouldn't know. I don't know what lap times he's doing. So, you know, I'll use my ocular scan, but I can't tell. With Homesick Alien coming back alive there, but his tyres are not. So Homesick Alien, he's clawing his way back up to the top 5, but his tyres don't want to play. He's got half a tank of fuel and not much hope left on those tyres. With Noxie on the mediums, he's just there, and Noxie's in it. And Wiggy is, he stretched that pit stop right out. And his tyres are good, but his fuel is not. 20 minutes left, that'll be his final. Can he, has he used softs? I've lost track. But with 20 minutes left, I think we saw Kevin make his first stint last around about over 20 minutes possibly. So there could be their final pit stop coming up for Wiggy. Fill that bad boy up, but then I think I'm not sure if he's used softs. He may have done, I'm not sure. I lose track. So Skyjacker, he's on the mediums. He's not too far behind that battle, so where Wiggy pits, Skyjacker will take over, but again, I don't think that's enough fuel to reach the end of this race, and he will be pitting again, as will Yellow Sausages, who has found himself ahead of Big Dan, who's recently pitted. Is that the final pit? Can 3/4 of a tank get you home on a set of soft tyres? The Baz also 3/4. Oh, he's got one of those pesky pit stop penalties. I'm sure he didn't make 3 seconds up in his pit stop, but there you go. He's been given 3 seconds. It's a breather down the straight. Maybe the game thinks he's getting a little hot. He needs to calm down a bit. So take 3 seconds, man. So Bazza holding a 3-second penalty. Is he 3 seconds ahead of Coy? I don't know. I don't have no information to tell me these things. But he's there coming up to the penalty line now. Is the Baz. And he's going to have to pay the piper as Coy Carp chases him down. And after his pit stop. Now all the VRC boys seems to have put 3/4 in, but Big Phil, who's gone to the medium tyre, and he's chunked right up on fuel. So either the Porsche is a little thirstier than the Merc, which I can't believe in 1 second, or BFeR Phil has filled it up too much. And Wiggy into the pits then. We'll see what his fuels are like. So, yeah, Big Dan, he's not quite got 3/4, has he? Yellow Sausages, he's got to make a stop soon. He'll be trying to hang out that tank as long as he can to go for a short stint at the end, with Skyjacker sitting in 8th place, chasing down Noxie, who must have recently pitted. He has not. Oh, no, he is in 7th. I thought he was higher than that. Homesick Alien, those tyres are giving me a little bit of heart palpitation. They're giving me a bit of stress. I'd like him just to change them because they're so bad. Stormfly. Oh, Kevin's dropped it somewhere. Hang on. What's happened here? I don't want to break the replay. So Kevin ahead of Stormfly. Stormfly's done an amazing job catching him up. And Kevin, everything looks good. Half tank of fuel. And racing medium tyres. The tyres are not worn. I don't know. I thought it said Stormfly was oh, he's gone ahead because of the bloody pit stop thing. Oh, that's all right. Nothing weird happened then. So Stormfly in, but he needed to because he's lacking of fuel. And Kevin's just going to keep on going. PM10 could probably get another lap or 2 out of that. Avalon Shadow in a bit of a better position. He can go longer than a PM10. And this will be their final pit stops, I am sure. Racer Brown in the shout in 5th place. He can see the 2 ahead of him, and they'll be pitting before him possibly. They have got less fuel, definitely PM10. Who's in the barrier? Oh, BFeR. I think he was just getting out of the way. I don't think there was anything wrong there. I think he was just pulling right over to get out of the way of PM10. And Avalon Shadow, who's now starting to put back up an attack on PM10, who's having to fend off from his team man, and Racer Brown closing in on those 2 as well, with tyres in a better position and fuel. Homesick Alien, he's got to be coming to the end of his little run because that front left tyre, there's nothing left on it whatsoever. It's gone now. It's done. It's finished. How's he keeping going? And Noxie just behind him. They've got a back marker between them of Phil. Then we've got Skyjacker, and his tyre's getting close to the end, but he's got good fuel, but he's a little bit further back from the Noxter with Yellow Sausages, and he's got to make a pit stop, but I'm not sure. Big Dan, Wiggy's got 3. We saw him fill right up, didn't we? Or was it Big Phil we saw fill right up? So Koi Carp half a tank, Bazza's half a tank, Wiggy's is just 3/4 of a tank. Half a tank for Dan. I'm not sure. I don't know if they can get that tank to the end. Possibly. I think the fuel's okay. It's the tyres that's the main concern. Yellow Sausage definitely going to have to make a pit stop. That's going to put him back with his around Bazza and Koi Carp, isn't it? I believe. Maybe a little further back. No. So Yellow Sausages into the pits at the end of this lap, and Skyjacker, he's got some tyre left. It's Homesick Alien. Has he gone past him again? No, he's in now. And PM10, where's he? Why is he down there? Hang on. We've missed something here. So there he was. Oh, the back end wanted to play in the sand. And PM10 had no say in that whatsoever. And Avalon Shadow goes by picking up a penalty. What? Yellow flag? Overtaken on the yellow flag, I bet. What a shocking show GT7 turned out to be. Could you remember when we were all excited about GT7? Do you remember the innocent times when we were all excited about the brand new racing game? Oh, they're laughing at us now. So Kevin is leading this race, and he's got another pit stop to do. But he's miles ahead of Stormfly. Well, Stormfly was closing in. He's on the softs now. Half a tank of fuel. That's going to take him to the end. The Alien has finally come in. Well, we saw him coming in. He's come in. Racer Brown, he's still going to have to make a pit stop. Noxie's going to have to make a pit stop. These guys are making their final pit stops. I think Skyjacker's going to have to make a pit stop before the end of the race. And Yellow Sausages, he's going to have to make a pit stop. Big Dan, I think, might be going to the end. Wiggy up ahead of the Baz, who's having a race with Koi Carp at the moment. They possibly are going all the way to the end, and Yellow Sausages is in. PM10's leaving, and where is Homesick? Homesick behind PM10. So PM10 jumped Homesick in the pit stops, out there in 8th on a set of racing soft tyres and a hell of a lot of fuel. And Homesick's filled up as well. So maybe those guys haven't got enough fuel to get to the end. Maybe there is another pit stop in it for Baz and Koi. And, Beefcake, I think, is going all the way to the end. Kevin then leads from Stormfly. Stormfly racking up some purples. Big Dan's got the fastest lap so far with a 55.126. But I couldn't tell you what anyone else is doing. If that's good or not. That is good, because it's fastest man on the track. But is everyone in the 55s? Is that like everyone's doing 56s and he's just smashed out a 55 from nowhere? Who would know? So Kevin going a little wide down the hill, but it's all right. He's got it all under control. Still another pit stop to go with only 14 minutes of racing left on the clock. Stormfly chasing him down. Well, chasing Thin Air down, waiting for his pit stop. He's racing a pit crew at the moment. With a Racer Brown, Avalon Shadow goes into the pits. He's picked up a bit of damage there, but he needed to pit anyway. And Racer Brown promoted up into 3rd place, but he also has to make a pit stop. Noxie then moves up into 4th, but he is yet to make his final stop of the race. And Skyjacker brings it in for his final. And with that red, I reckon he's going to get a penalty. Oh, it's a long pit stop. Oh, maybe that's just his lap time, but who knows. Big Dan then, he's going to sweep through, but no, I was wrong. That fuel isn't to see him to the end. Big Dan possibly will need to make another pit stop in this race as a PM10 there ahead of Homesick Alien, and they make their way up. Well, Noxie's... No, he's not a pit, and Big Dan, he's got a pit. So it is PM10 racing with Avalon. Avalon's got himself a penalty from somewhere, possibly coming out of the pits. No, he's not on an outlap, so I don't know where he's picked up that 3-seconder, because it's not an outlap, it says. and he's getting diced up with Homesick Alien. Homesick Alien gets through, I believe, goes very wide though, might pick up a penalty himself, who knows. And Avalon Shadow then, 3 seconds for what? And Homesick Alien then chasing down PM10, and that's a race to the end, both on racing softs, both similar fuel loads, and that one is to be duked out on track as Big Dan feels the heat behind him, but he's got to be pitting soon. Noxie, he's in that battle as well somewhere with Homesick and PM10, so he wants to get a really good pit stop on the go and get out there right in the mix of it. And Kevin does take that second pit stop. Does Stormfly do enough? He's done enough! He's done enough! Stormfly has absolutely pulverised it on his final stint, making that earlier stop, getting the undercut, and now Stormfly, for the first time of this race, and not due to pit stops, is leading. It's a straight lead there. Kevin's lost something somewhere, and it's usually down the back of the sofa, Kev. So if that's where you want to direct your look, that's where you need to be checking it out. But Kevin, wow. Now, Kevin's got to show us what he's made of. He can lead, and he can lead like a champion. But can he win from behind? Is he good from behind? He's great being in the front. He'll have anyone come up behind him. He'll take anyone whilst he's in the front. But how does he work when he's behind? And in the chat, race pace 156 in the front, up to 157, 158 until P7. Oh, cheers, Avatar. And Ensign saying was just banging in enough fuel to last a soft stint each time. There you go. That's Edson. So here we go then. Stormfly leads this race. Mugged you off, mate, didn't he? Mugged you right off. We've been doing some pillaging today, boys. And we're going to get the spoils. Well, maybe not. There's still 10.5 minutes left of this race. And Kevin is he's zeroing in on his teammate there out in the lead. Racer Brown. He's had a pit stop. He's sitting there in third. He's got Big Dan behind who needs to pit, and he's got Homesick wants to get by. Homesick is like, come on! He's got himself ahead of PM10. Now. We've got to check that out, and we've got to check that out. PM10 was ahead of the Alien, so something's happened. Oh my gosh, did it happen? I'm questioning everything. Oh look, we've had some pit stoppers. So whilst we were watching Kevin and Stormfly, or Stormzy, up front, Racer Brown Noxie goes in, Big Dan stays out, and PM10 still ahead of the Alien, but the Alien lining him up for the first corner. PM10 takes the inside there to try and defend. And defend he does very well, but Homesick Alien just later on the brakes, no. Stormfly gets a wiggly bum, and that is the one that helps the Alien through. The Porsche has been PM10's biggest rival this evening, fighting his own car. And Homesick Alien then up into fifth as Noxie and Skyjacker pit. Racer Brown pits, gets back out ahead of Big Dan, and he's miles away from the leaders, but he's looking like he's got that podium sewn up, and it could have been PM10, Avalon Shadow. There was a few people wanting that P3, but in the end it looks like Racer Brown's strategy is the one that's got it in. Big Dan, he's becoming a calamity for Homesick Alien, who's got PM10 behind him, and Big Dan, they're not letting his teammate through. Come on, Big Dan, man, I know you don't want to be attacked from PM10, but you really got to let the Alien through. You're hindering him, and this is a bad showmanship here for the VRC team. It does not look good on the stream when Big Dan coming to the end of his pit stop, impeding Homesick Alien, who's under attack. And there we go, Big Dan getting out of the way, and he was just right, looking for the right moment, and Homesick through for you. I'm only teasing Ensign. Ensign saying it was just, oh yeah, I read that. So Homesick Alien then fourth with PM10 in fifth. Big Dan looking for a pit stop, and he's racing. Oh no, not Avalon Shadow, probably not Noxie. He wants to beat Wiggy, doesn't he? Wiggy and Koi Carp. The Baz has got a pit soon. He's got, the Baz and Koi both need to pit. Wiggy's good. We saw him pit earlier, put a shed load of fuel in. He's chasing down Noxie. There goes Big Dan. He's into the pits. And obviously Coy, Bazza, letting Skyjacker through. Skyjacker. And Baz takes it into the pit lane. And Skyjacker, Big Dan and Coy all in the pits. And frees up Skyjacker then to get a set chase for Wiggy, who seems a little too far away for Skyjacker now, with only less than 9 minutes to go. Big Dan in the pits, Koi Carp in the pits, Bazza's in the pits. Yellow Sausages coming across the line. Is he going to take himself a few VRC scalps? Yes, he does. Koi Carp and the Bazza. Yellow Sausages gets it done. Superb stuff for the Pirate, the Black Flag Racing team. And Big Dan then 10th after his pit stop. Oh no, Stormzy's in. Stormfly, I thought that was it. But he's coming in. What the jeebers? He's got fuel. Kevin then, happy days. What? Is quarter not enough? Quarter is obviously not enough. He's got to go in for a splash and dash. And my excitement was over absolutely nothing, because Stormfly didn't pull off a drastic one. He underfueled it to get the lead, but he's had to come in, and that's going to hurt him. Where's Racer Brown? Where is Racer? No, Stormfly gets going, and it's all right. Racer Brown is not a problem. Insinuate in the chat saying I had no idea it was Homesick, thought it was someone else, to be fair. Yes, you should have had colours on your car, a splash of colour or something. We used to all have colours. Mine was yellow. Homesick Aliens was blue. Skyjackers was purple. But yeah, we were all allocated. Like, it looks like that's what the Black Flag boys have done, because you've got Kevin there with some yellow lines on his Porsche. And then you've got Stormfly. He's got green lines. That's... Oh, purple isn't Skyjacker, sorry. I think green's Skyjacker. Groot used to be purple. But Stormfly there, green. Racer Brown in third place. He's got Homesick Alien behind him, but Homesick Alien is under immense pressure from PM10 Racing, and it's race on for 4th and 5th in this race. I don't think they're going to catch up Racer Brown. His tyres are absolutely plush, and he's got no distractions around him, where Homesick Alien is going to have to fend off from PM10, who's got blue lines. Avalon Shadow, he's got red lines. Avalon Shadow, I must say, what happened to him? He was there. He was looking like he was getting a podium, and he's lost a chunk of time somewhere. We saw he had a 3-second penalty, but even so, it seems a little more than 3 seconds he's lost out there to PM10 Racing and Homesick Alien. Noxie also, he was up there knocking the doors. He was in 4th place for a while, so he seems to have fallen back a little bit. And he's chasing down Avalon Shadow, but he's not too far away. We've still got a good 6 minutes, just under 6 minutes left of racing. Noxie reeling off his fastest one so far, his fastest sector so far. And Avatar saying, right. What have I done? Have I upset someone now? I wasn't meant to. Sorry, guys. Wiggy, 8th. I'm looking. He's a little too far back from Noxie, I'd say. And he's all right from Skyjacker and Big Dan. Geez, Skyjacker, he didn't pit that long ago, did he? He's wrecked those softs. He's ripping through them like there was nothing more. Big Dan then, in 10th. Oh, maybe he's saying right about the colours. Yes, sorry, I've got you. Yeah, Yellow Sausages. Ironically, he's not yellow, is he? What is his? I can't see. Gold? Is it gold? And we'll get a better shot. Oh, it's still too far away. So, Yellow Sausages, I didn't Google it. I'm gonna. I think his is gold. Gold or grey or something. It's because the sun's setting. It's hard to see. Sun's setting. It was early morning, so I doubt the sun's setting. It must be rising. But Yellow Sausage there in 11th, ahead of the Baz. And he's a good way ahead of the Baz as the leaders come through. up to, who's that? Coy, yeah, Coy getting lapped over an hour's race, and he's in a battle with the Baz. I imagine he doesn't want to lose too much time. He'll be waiting for the Porsche to get right on him. Oh, massive wiggle, and it looks like he may have cost the leader a bit of time there. And he's giving him a flash, but I think it purely was a mistake. But Coy really should just get out of the way of the leader. And there he does. He does. Comes out the corner, pulls over, and lets Kevin through. And Kevin, the next up the road for him will be the Baz, I think. Stormfly then, having to make that splash and dash. I don't even think he changed his tyres. I think he just came in and dropped a little bit of fuel on there, which helped him stay miles ahead of Racer Brown. Racer Brown not even in it for the top two today, but looks like third is definitely done and dusted, with Homesick Alien on a very old set of tyres. And PM10 has looked after his tyres a lot better than the Alien. And how is the Alien going to keep this in the last 3 minutes? There is no chance. His tyres are absolutely burnt to toast. And this is the move from PM10 up into fourth. But is it? No, because Homesick Alien's being very obnoxious and keeping his car exactly where he wants it. But PM10 gets the job done now, and he is through and up into fourth. And Homesick Alien could only do what he could do. Ensign Hewitt saying, looked on the radar, saw someone close, thought it was a Porsche, then looked behind and realised it was friendly fire. And Racer Brown saying, hello, hello. And Homesick Alien, with those tyres, just couldn't keep it in there. And PM10 makes his way back up into fourth place. Because remember, he was there before and dropped it. So it's still, if Homesick Alien can keep on the pressure to a PM10, possibly that position might open itself back up again, with Homesick Alien then fifth, Avalon Shadow sixth. Good race from Avalon Shadow, ahead of Noxie. He's got himself ahead of Noxie along this race somewhere. Noxie a fine seventh for the VRC boys, with Wiggy in eighth. Great racing up and down. I'm looking forward to next Wednesday, I tell you it's going to be cracking. PM10 in the chat saying evening all. Why hello. And Wiggy then in eighth. Skyjacker ninth. His tyres are looking pretty drastic, and he's a fair whack ahead of Big Dan. So I'm sure Skyjacker has got no worries there, getting it home for ninth. Big Dan in 10th. Then Yellow Sausages a little too far back from Big Dan to get a move done. Bazza, he can see. No, hang on. I don't want to get carried away, because that might be the leader. Yellow Sausages, Yellow Sausages miles ahead of him, sorry. Koi Carp, his fight with the Baz, I think him having to pull over for the leader has pretty much done it for him. And Beefcake Phil in 14th spot. And I couldn't tell you how far behind Koi. He's a little too far behind Koi to get anything done. So Kevin, unbelievable stuff. We thought he'd lost the race, but he had not. He gets to cross the line and do a beautiful parade lap. As before the timer runs out, I think it might run out before Stormzy gets there, or Stormfly, Stormzy's brother. And Avatar saying hi, Paul. Avatar also saying watch last lap for fifth. Ooh, really? So there goes Stormfly. He looks like he's gonna. No, the clock's not run out. He gets another lap. Racer Brown in third. Oh my word, the Avalon Shadows come through. Hang on. Where did that come from? Because Avalon Shadow, he was a little further back than that. And his tyres are good though, and it looks like Homesick Alien has just asked way too much for his tyres, hasn't he? Homesick Alien, he's just tried to be a little too optimistic there on that set of tyres, and Avalon Shadow absolutely destroying the scalp of the Alien. Go on, my son, around the outside, that's the way. Humiliate him, don't just overtake him, humiliate him, that's it. Well done. Avalon Shadow then up into fifth place, with Homesick Alien sixth, and could Noxie come at the Alien, but the time has run out. Who's crossed the line? Anyone? Racer Brown? Racer Brown's just about to cross the line. And finish in third spot. Take a boo, my son. Well done for the VRC boys. Comes home in third. For the Black Flag guys, they're in fourth. PM10, great race. Avalon Shadow, superb at the end there. Gets himself fifth place. Homesick Alien in sixth with a dead tyre. Seventh for Noxie. Wiggy comes it around that final corner. Grabs himself a great eighth spot. Barely any fuel on board there for the Wigster. And super stuff there with Skyjacker grabbing himself a fine ninth. I hope the timer doesn't run out. With Big Dan coming home for 10th for the VRC boys. That was good, healthy fun, that was, wasn't it? It was great. I'm glad. I can see why they want to do it again. I don't think they cared about the settings issue. I think they just wanted another race because it was fun. So, Yellow Sausages, hang on. I've got a feeling the leaders are getting close. No, they're not yet. No, BFeR has finished already. And Yellow Sausages making his way just ahead of the Baz, but the Baz made a mistake there, I think. And Yellow Sausages gets 11th, just ahead of the Baz. Koi Carp gets 13th, but let's have a look as Kevin. Glorious, but there's Stormfly. Kevin can't go too slow because, they're doing a lovely little photo finish as they come around. And there we see Kevin and Stormfly take that win in formation. Beautiful. It's great. That's great. Great wholesome fun there, boys, from the Black Flag e-racing group. And they hosted a lovely race for us there at the Nürburgring. Round 1 next Wednesday. We're going to be seeing them again at the Red Bull Ring. That's going to be fun. So check it out. I'm assuming in the same cars. The AMG, though, the Mercedes, I don't know how that's going to feel around a Red Bull Ring. It's going to feel heavy and horrible, but there you go. And PM10 Racing saying, I'm watching, mate. And Avatar saying, very nice commentated, mate. If you make the live stream, you will have the times. I know. I was on holiday. That's why I couldn't do it. Dude, I take this seriously, man. You ask anyone at the VRC, I barely miss a race. I'm there, man. I love a stream. I love a live stream. I love the interaction. I love it all. So, yeah, doing replays, it's a ball ache. But I was on holiday, Bobs. I took the kids away to Weymouth. And, man alive, it killed me. There was so much walking. Oh, paid an absolute fortune to go into Sea Life Centre. You could look around it in an hour. Then absolutely lost a fortune of money in the arcades because that seemed to be the most entertaining thing for kids, is putting 2p's in machines and then watching them fall. And that cost a fortune. Then we got hooked on the tickets. Why am I telling you any of this? Why do you care about my holiday? Especially half of you are probably Black Flag guys, don't even know me. Read then. Don't worry, I'll save it for a VRC stream. I'll moan about how much my holiday cost then. Or the tickets, fiasco. Kevin won. We will let him cross the line, but it's just the replay's shut down as soon as someone crosses the line. So you've got to pause. You've got to pause it. So Kevin, he took the win and he absolutely owned it, didn't he? Stormfly caught him up at the end, but he had to have a splash and dash. So I think that was more Kevin letting him come back. And so they could really rub the VRC boys' noses in it. That they trickle over the line at, 68 miles an hour? Kevin's going 67 miles an hour as they come across the line. Racer Brown got a super third place for the VRC boys. We hold him dear in our hearts, proud. Take a boo, my son. PM10, great driving there with everyone. With Homesick, with Avalon. Great driving from PM10 Racing with Avalon Shadow there. Last lap crusade against the Alien, and he took it to Area 51 and owned it. Homesick Alien asking a set of soft tyres to just do too much. Too much, I tell thee. Noxie having a great race there. One more lap and he would have had the Alien. Wiggy, superb race there. It looked like he was languishing around the back come lap 1, but Come the end of the race, 60 minutes later, he's in 8th place. So superb stuff from Wiggy. Skyjacker in 9th with Big Dan. Drifting Dan in 10th. Yellow Sausages, still didn't Google it. I'm going to Google it though. Is in 11th. The Baz is 12th. Koi Carp 13th. And Beefcake BFeR Phil came in 14th. Kevin got the fastest lap with a 1:53.862. I thought 55.3 was good from Dan earlier in the race, and then you were saying average was 55.56s, and Kevin went and smashed in an absolute killer 53.8. That boy's fast. Don't bring him for the next one. You can bench him. Don't worry, we won't mind. And Avatar giving it a load of emojis. Avatar saying, lol, cheers, mate. And Ensign Hewitt saying, great comms thingy. Thank you very much. Right then. So, what we got coming up on the VRC YouTube channel? Well, I am going to try and slip a GTMC in there, replay that I missed when I was on holiday. But I'm not going to tell you when I'm going to do it. That's going to be a surprise attack. Keep an eye on. That's why you have to hit like and subscribe and ring my bell. Touch my bell end to get them notifications so you know when it's coming. So GTMC, I'm going to try and slip a replay in there at some point. Tuesday live, we'll be back to the GT Wes. Is that what we're in the middle of at the moment? I think it is. I'm not great at these things. Keeping track of the races we do. Yeah, GT3 World Endurance Series. And that we will be going from Suzuka, possibly. So check out for that. Then Wednesday, we've got Red Bull Ring with the Black Flag guys. Then on Thursday, we've got the GTMC again. And that'll be coming at you from Alsace. No, they've just done Alsace. That'll be coming from Catalonia? Spa-Francorchamps. Friday, looks like they're trying to get a Super Formula race up and running, so that'll be interesting. And then that's it. That's our week done. Chillax. Thank you for joining us here at the Virtual Racers Club. I was your broadcaster and your commentator, Lou Sass. Thank you for joining us. Peace and love. Oh, let him cross the line, shall we? That's not fair. Big win for Kevin. Well done. Stormfly in second. Peace and love. Peace and... Oh, look, you get a finishing position on the replay. Don't get that in the real life stuff. Oh, well. Peace and love. Would you like some toast?